Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode here on Sunny Side Up Farms. So we're still out in the Case Giant, cultivating away with our little 4-meter cultivator, which is the tractor is almost as wide as, but it has got fairly wide tyres on, to be fair. I brought it like that because obviously it's going to do the ploughing and the drilling, so it's always good to have a bit of extra traction, especially when you're sort of ploughing, especially if it becomes wet. So, but yeah, we're out in the old Case again today. We just get this field finished, and then what we'll do is we will fast forward to the next month then, because I don't want to get too bogged down in contracts, because the thing is, you know, if you start doing a lot of contracts, you can start earning a lot of money, and we can start progressing within, 3 episodes, and you know, that's sort of not the aim of the series, really. The aim of the series is to enjoy the David Browns, enjoy the classic way that we used to farm back in here in Great Britain, and there are many farms where I live that still rely heavily on David Browns. Yes, they're not very big farms. They're sort of small, 100, maybe 200 acre farms. Some are not even as big as that. And as I say, they rely very heavily on the David Browns still. The sort of 885 and 996 being the most popular ones, and the 1210 I think it is. That's also a pretty popular one around here as well. So the little 2-wheel drive one. So yeah, and they're still, as I say, very widely used around here. But this save is all about enjoying the fact that we are, sort of using them and what have you. And I have to admit, every time that I load this save in and then come into the game to obviously do, some cultivating or ploughing or whatever it is that I'm doing, I do get very sort of nostalgic and very excited about driving. Well, I'm not driving it, but sort of using this modded tractor. It's I don't know. It has a real charm to it. I feel almost as excited as what George Saunders did when he bought his is it his TW Ford, I think, his articulated Ford that he bought earlier this year. I know he's waiting for spares and repairs and different things to to happen on the tractor, but he's sort of very excited to have that, and that's kind of how I feel about this. Incidentally, if you do like your real farmers and you haven't checked out George's YouTube channel, then go and check out George Saunders. Well worth a watch, and subscribe and what have you, because the videos are very interesting. It's about a little family run farm. This year they bought a brand new class combine, the one that's coming into the game in 2025, so they've just bought that brand new, and it's a nice bit of kit. And yeah, as I say, from what I understand, it's a small family farm, and the videos are very good. George is very good. He would make a very good teacher. I feel he's very good at making farming easy to understand and follow, and sort of get your head around. So as I say, well worth a little look. And he does also as well have a second channel where he does farm sim videos. So he plays farm sim too, and he has a second channel that he does that on as well. So I tend not to watch that one quite so much, not because it's no good. I think because I spend most of my day playing it, when I do actually go to YouTube, I sort of watch real farmers and sort of watch what they're doing, and then it's like, well, okay, yeah, fair enough. Like, sort of PX Farms being my favourite YouTube channel, I think, at the moment, by a long way. Absolutely incredible what James does day after day, and the scale that he does it at, and the ease that he does it at as well. I guess it's a bit like the Swan situation on water, isn't it? That you know, we see above water when he's on camera, where he's nice and calm and he's, you know, sort of quite relaxed, very funny, you know, very jokey. But underneath, I bet his legs are going, you know, 9 million miles an hour. Because I say, you know, it's sort of, I think, getting on for about 13,000 acres that he currently farms. His ambition is that by the time I think he hits 50, I think I'm right in saying that by the time he hits 50, he wants 25,000 acres. You know, they're rapidly growing. They've just bought 4 brand new Lexion A900 combines, a brand new Vent 1167 crawler to go with the other, God knows how many crawlers they have. Yeah, farming on a very massive scale, and as I say, he's really enjoyable to watch. So. But yeah, I don't tend to. I do watch, like, there's like Mr. Silly P. Obviously, I watch him. I do watch some Daggerwin, some Scroft, obviously for the farmhand. Yeah, I tend to. I think one of the reasons since I've started, because before I did YouTube, I watched all of them, you know, religiously, you know, Dagwin, all of them, you know, I just sort of like everyone else, you know. But since I started doing YouTube, I think one of the things that I've kind of been a bit wary of is that I don't want to appear to be copying, and also as well, I have a great tendency to as a sort of personality to sort of, oh, that's working for them, I'll do that. I want to find my own voice. I want to find my own style. I want to find, you know, and so therefore I do it the way that I do it. So it, you know, that I'm very conscious that you know, I don't want to become clones. I know that's very, you know, sort of hard to do because they're very good at what they do. You know, Dan Wingscroft and all, you know, Farm Sim Guy, you know, Silly P, you know, they're all really, really excellent at what they do. And the way I do things, I mean, you know, these people have obviously got, you know, quite a lot of knowledge with computers and editing and stuff like that, you know, which is fantastic. It's a great skill to have. You know, I don't really understand computers. I know enough to turn mine on and to play Farm Sim and use the internet and, you know, sort of stuff like that, and to edit the videos that I do edit. I watch most of my videos, and, you know, I always ask myself the question. So every video that I record, I then re-watch to make sure that, you know, there's no swearing in it, or because I tell you, if I get really excited and really sort of passionate about something, that's when I tend to my language tends to change colour a little bit, and I'm kind of like, you know, why does that happen? I think it's just because I get really passionate and really, you know, sort of excited about things, and I guess my brain kind of sort of thinks that that's how you, you know, how you express those feelings, you know. So I sort of watch for that, but I also watch for one very important reason. Would I watch this? And that's the main reason why I watch 99.9% of all videos that I do, because I'm asking the question, is it boring? Would I watch it? And so far, but for a couple that haven't gone out because I've sat there and thought, this is awful. You know, and the scary thing is, I probably had sort of like massive hit videos on my hands, you know, but I've gone, oh no, that's awful. And then also as well, obviously, I talk about the 2 ladies that I have checked my work, and it's her birthday today, so I'll give Mandy a little bit of a shout out, because as I say, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Mandy. And thank you for keeping me out of prison so far. But yeah, so I tend to, you know, they're watching to make sure I don't say nothing, you know, too controversial or wrong, anything like that, but they're also watching because I always say to them, you know, I know you're not interested in farming per se, but would you, you know, sort of sit and watch it? And the other lady that I have watch my videos, Valerie, or Val, she likes to be called. She won't appreciate me saying Valerie on camera. I'll probably have to now not put this video out, you know. But Val, she has a grandson, and she watches the video to make sure again that I'm, you know, sort of not doing nothing wrong. And then when I always say, but would you watch it? She's like, I haven't seen my grandson yet, but when he comes, I'll give him the video. He's coming later today, or he's coming tomorrow, or whatever. I'll give him the video and see if he sits and watches it. And that's, you know, I think he's, I can't remember. I think he's about 6. I think he is. And if I can keep a 6-year-old entertained, I know I'm doing okay. Because my little boy, he watches my videos, but because he has ADHD, he can't sit long enough to watch all of the video, so he tends to sort of watch the video over 4 or 5 days because he's just constantly on the move. Like, and it's like, you know, and he'll put a video on and then he'll turn it instantly over to another one, and then instantly over to another one, and then over to another one. And I say, why don't you watch them? And he goes, oh, because, you know, I need action now. And, you know, and so it takes him sort of a week to get through sort of 3 videos, you know. But bless him, he does watch my videos, and he, you know, he always says they're good videos, Dad, you know. So, but yeah, you know, that's why I don't watch them, just because I sort of don't want to, you know, appear to be copying or to be doing anything similar. I want to do my own style. I want to have my own voice. I want to, you know, sort of do videos my way. The potato series that I'm doing, I just kind of was like, yeah, I really like that. You know, I would be very interested in that, and what would interest me about that is the history that goes with it. You know, and I haven't really got to the history yet in the videos. But that's starting to come through now. That's going to start to happen, and now we're getting a little bit deeper into the preparations and you know, and why we have the crop rotation that we do, why, you know, why we use the cover crops that we do, why we use the lime that we do, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, so this is all based off the farm that I worked on, right? So I don't obviously myself grow potato, well, in the garden, but on a massive scale, I don't grow potatoes, and you know, so I'm doing it from when I worked on a farm. I'm doing it from what we used to do, you know, and potatoes is something on the farm I loved, and so I was heavily involved with the potato side of things. If you know, I wasn't ploughing or whatever. But, you know, Adrian liked to put me in the potatoes because he knew I was passionate about it, and I was really interested in the work and the processes that we have to do, and, you know, the fact that we had so many tractors in one field, and, you know, people used to come and watch us and film us, and, you know, you used to get drones flying all over the place, you know, and there's a real sense of occasion with potatoes, and I loved them before that anyway. You know, I was just fascinated by potatoes and the effort that, you know, goes into growing them, and different things like that, and so you know, they've always fascinated me, and when I was sort of sat down, you know, a couple of weeks ago now, maybe a month ago, and I was kind of, and you have to forgive me if I sound a bit funny, I've got a rotten cold again at the moment, so I've gone a very long time with not having a cold, and then suddenly within the space of like sort of 5 weeks I'm now in my second one. But yeah, so you know, I sort of sat there, you know, sort of a month ago, and I was like, you know, and I just thought, you know what, the history behind it, and you know, I started to sort of look into the crop, and I just thought it's something different, you know, not really seen anything like it on YouTube. You know, I am a farmer in the sense that, you know, obviously for many years worked on a farm, worked on a small family farm, and you know, as far as I understand it from the boss of the second farm, that was the reason why I was chosen, because I'd worked on a small family farm, I'd got all my training, I'd got, you know, experience, I'd got, you know, and so therefore I was a perfect fit to come in full time on their farm, because, you know, apart from the things that I hadn't done on the farm that I worked on, which, you know, they didn't grow potatoes, they didn't grow onions, carrots, and all of those wonderful things. So I needed sort of kind of training a little bit on there, but you know, my passion sort of for potato farming, I don't know why I've got it, I just do. Absolutely, and I mean, you know, I enjoyed the carrots and I enjoyed the onions and the processes and the and what have you, and you know, you know, I don't know why, but I do just really enjoy that side of farming more so than the wheats and the, you know, sort of the wheats. I don't know. I kind of feel like wheat, you can just shove it in the ground and leave it, and it'll do its thing, and then you harvest it, and everything turns out all right in the end. Whereas with the potatoes and the onions and the carrots and, you know, all of those sort of vegetables that we used to grow, you had to nurture them. You know, you had to be really, you know, you had to be there every step of the way to make sure they, you know, they made something at the end, and I really like that. I like that closeness with, you know, with the job, the soil, you know, the product that we were trying to produce, and trying to produce the best product. And I mean, Adrian, you know, had often said, because we had a potato manager as such who looked after the potato side of the business, and he was due to retire in. So I left in 2015, I think, and he was due to retire in 2016. But in 2014, obviously, they were already looking for a successor to him. And Adrian had said, you know, we think you would be perfect for that, because you've got such passion for them and what have you, that, you know, that you know, you would be able to take that role on and be more managerial. And you know, I sort of said, you know, I'm not sure. And you know, he was kind of like, well, what do you mean you're not sure? And I said, well, I'm not sure. I said, because I really like driving tractors. I said, like, you know, I'm a tractor driver. Yes, I've got passion about the crops that we grow, or the veg that we grow, but ultimately I'm a tractor driver. I'm not a manager. I said, you know, I'm not very good with maths. You know, I'm not very good at writing. You know, no one can read my writing here. I said, like, you know, I'm not very good at spelling. I'm not very practical. I'm not very good at problem solving. But I'm very good. What I said, in my opinion, I'm very good at driving tractors and doing a good job. You know, I said, like, even if I do say so myself, I said I've got, you know, a couple of sort of Farmers Weekly awards that you know, that I've got for, you know, driving, for ploughing, for hedge cutting, you know, and different things like that. I said, like, you know, I said, and I've also got a spraying award as well. You know, I said, like, that's where I was, but I don't know. Like, I don't know whether I would have taken it or not, because he just said, "Oh well, you haven't got to worry about it until 2016 anyway. So, you know, but we'll discuss it more then." He said, "But you do yourself down too much." You know, he said, like, you're more intelligent and clever than what you think you are. And then, funnily enough, I was talking to him the other day, because they were working not too far from where I live, and I had to walk up to have a look at them, and they were drilling every time I say barley, I always say spring barley. It was winter barley they were drilling. And I went up there and had a look, and he said, "Oh, you know, I watch your YouTube channel." So I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "You've said before." He said, "Yeah," but he said, "I'll really watch it now." So I said, "Right." He said, "I'm really getting into it." So I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." He said, "Like, I love the 1950s series. That's fantastic." He said, "Like, that's my granddad's era, you know, and what have you." So I was like, "Oh, that's really good, you know." He said, "I'll tell you what I do like." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I like the potato series." He said, "I like the farm manager series as well." He said how you managed to make that a vlog in a game was very good. He said, like, it's very clever. He said, and I listened to you in your videos. He said, and you're still doing yourself down. He said, you're doing a good job, you know. He said, like, I know you mentioned about the numbers and the people, you know, the amount of, you know, sort of views that you get and that. He said, but you're doing a good job, you know. He said, like, you're doing a really good job. He said, and the thing is, you know, you're relatively new. YouTube's not going to push you all that much because they want to push the people that are earning them big bucks, you know. So they're always going to be pushed. But once YouTube sort of catches on, oh, hang on a minute, you know, he said I think once you get to 1,000 subscribers, he said I think you'll be fine. He said like, but it's hard to get there. He said, and the reason it's hard to get there is because YouTube has to whittle out the people that are not committed. He said, like, you're far better than what you think you are. He said, your videos are good, they're interesting, you know. He said the history and everything that you always sort of give, and the stories that you tell, you know. He said, like, you know, they're interesting to listen to. And so, like, he was, you know, so I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, thanks, you know. But and we got talking about it, because that was the last field of winter barley that they were drilling in that field. And then the second block that we have not far from where I live, he said that's all coming potatoes this year. So I said, oh, well, next year. So I said, oh, is it? He said, yeah. He said, you know, he said, you'll be up here for that. So I said, well, I'll definitely come up and have a look at the tractors and what have you. And he said, have you ever thought about, like, you know, what we'd sort of talked about? And I said, what, since I've left? He said, yeah. So I said, well, I said, occasionally, you know. I said, like, you know, I sort of thought about it. I said, but I don't know. I said, like, you know, like I said, like, I'm not. I said, like, you know, you're a clever person, you know. You're quick on your maths, you're quick on this, you're quick on that. You're a good thinker. You know, you problem solve and that. You know, I said, like, you know, I said, I'm not like that. I said, and sometimes you just, as a person, you just have to accept that, yes, there's something you would like to do, but you haven't quite. I said, you know, I'd love to be a professional snooker player, but I said, I have to be realistic, and I haven't got nowhere near the skill or talent to be it. I said, and that's not being mean to myself, that's being realistic. I said, like, you know, I said, a lot of people think I pull myself down a lot. I said, and maybe that's true to a degree. I said, but I think as a person, you have to be honest to yourself, and you have to be realistic with yourself, and setting yourself targets that are beyond your reach at that point in your life is not something that's going to be, you know, healthy to you or conducive to doing a really good job. You know, I said, and that's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do a bad job. I said, you know, we're one of the sort of biggest, best potato growers in the area. I said, and I would hate to have come in and started making basic errors that, you know, would detriment that in, you know, a big way for the company and the business. You know, I said, I would lose my job. I said, and I don't want to lose my job. I said, you know, I said, I'd like working for you. I said, and, you know, I said, you know, so I said, it was, you know, I just, tractor driving is something that I do think I'm very good at. I said, I do think I was very good at the jobs that I did. Yes, I occasionally got the wrong fields, and yes, I occasionally did other people's work. But I said, like, but beyond that, I said, like, you know, I said, I think I was pretty good. And he said, like, you know, he said, you were. He said, you were one of the better, you know, sort of one of the best tractor drivers that we have. You know, he said, like, that's why you were on the jobs that you were on. You know, we don't give drilling to, you know, sort of poor tractor operators, because we need that to be spot on and accurate. He said, you definitely don't get to drive one of the potato planters if you're no good. You know, he said, but we always put you on the main one. You know, on the lead potato planter. You know, he said, like, you were on all the other jobs, you were highly skilled at all the other jobs to do with potatoes and onions and carrots and you know, the other Brussels and stuff like that we used to grow. So yeah, but anyway, I've gone on for far too long. I'm just waffling. I gotta admit, I dropped my little boy off at school today, and I was sort of coming home and I was thinking, do you know, and I think it's the first time since I've been single that I've genuinely sort of come home and thought, do you know what, I'm really lonely. I haven't got anyone to sort of chat to. And then it was kind of like, as I was sort of driving home, and I was sort of thinking, well, I'll chat to the good people on YouTube, they won't mind. So we've had a bit of chat, but I'm going to switch over to some time lapse now and a nice bit of relaxing music, just because my voice is beginning to give up. And as I say, we're we're soon going to be... Sorry, I didn't mean to do that if you're wearing headphones. I do apologise. I didn't know that was coming. Yeah, Anna, if you're still watching at the end, which hopefully you will be, I'll join you at the end and we'll chat again for another, few minutes or whatever, and we'll talk about what's happened and what's coming in the future. I think it won't be long before we start pushing the time on to harvest again. Just so that we do get to where we want to be. So as I say, I might off camera do a couple of more contracts, just because I do want to start to get young chickens in those other coops. They're not going to eat very much and they're not going to produce many eggs, and that's fine, I don't mind that. But I do want to get all of those chicken coops full of chickens, because I want to be a big chicken farmer. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to buy the pig farm, which is not too far from here, so I'd like to do that, and again, sort of keep it nice and sort of simple. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to do a bit of time lapse, nice bit of relaxing music, and I'll see you all at the end. Bye for now. So I'm back, and we're definitely getting on with some work now. Thought we'd do a few. I wanted to do a couple of drilling contracts just because I really enjoy drilling or sowing or however you refer to it as. But I really, this is one of my or was one of my. I think ploughing was probably my favourite job on the farm, but which is handy because that's what I did most days. But second would come drilling, and then third would come well, actually drilling and potato planting would have been sort of joint second really, because I really enjoyed both as much as each other. So but yeah, so we'll get on with these. There's a third one there as well, field number 8, which is just up there directly in front of us, so I might even off camera as well do that one as well, but or I might even do it on camera, I don't know. But we're not going to get bogged down with 3 or 4 episodes of drilling. We will as I say, we're going to keep moving. As you saw, we got the rest of the chickens that I wanted. We're now out of wheat, so we need harvest to come now ASAP. Just because we're going to have to buy in some corn now, because I've got a feeling I'm going to run out of chicken food before harvest comes along. So as I say, we've got that to do as well. But I've also got the second dose of spraying to do as well. So the fields need I think it's their final fertilising for this year, and then hopefully that should give us full yields. That's what I'm hoping. I can't remember whether we mulched the ground or not. I'm not sure that we did, so we won't quite get 100%, but 90 or 98% or whatever it is that we'll get, that that will still help us out a lot. And we're growing more wheat this year as well. We've got a second field of wheat, so the rapeseed's being grown basically because it's a money crop. We just need we need enough money to be able, because I want another couple of fields, and obviously we're going to need to at some point have enough money to buy the pigs as well. So that's the aim until the eggs start becoming our main source of income, and then the rapeseed will stop be grown. Then it won't be grown, but obviously we need to get that going, and that's going to take this year as well to get that going. So we will get it up and running, and once we start earning money from the eggs, as I say, I think this probably will be the last year that we grow rapeseed, and then we'll just grow sort of wheat and sorghums, just for variety in terms of chicken feed really. But yeah, so that will be that's the aim for the farm. I do like the way those marker discs keep spinning after you've lifted them up. It's really clever, that. I really like that. But yeah, it's gone pretty well actually, to be fair. I mean, that cultivating was virtually through that anyway, so I knew that there wasn't going to be enough there for a whole video, so I knew we was going to be doing other stuff, and I wanted to get my chickens, and I wanted to get them fed, and that sort of kind of brought other jobs as well. And then I was hoping that there was going to be a few drilling contracts come up. As I say, I'm not going to bog us down into contracts, because it's not what I want to do. I want the main income to be eggs. That's what this save is all about. But in order for that to happen, as I said, this year I need to build it up, and while I'm building it up and getting the eggs going and getting the chickens there and everything, obviously we're going to need money, because we're not bringing in the money from the eggs at the moment. We're obviously not selling the wheat. So the sort of I think it will end up being 5 contracts that we've done, the 5 contracts, and the rapeseed this year will be our income for this year. And then sort of next year we're going to need to rely on the eggs, and hopefully in terms of egg growth, nothing bad is on the horizon. but you know, back in the 80s, you know, you were only one comment away from, you know, ending an industry or starting a world war. You know, we're sort of in the mid-80s, obviously the Falklands War, you know, as sort of is happening, and you know, that's not come on the tail or too far behind the Cold War, or the very near Cold War, that was looming very large on the horizon, but thankfully didn't come to nothing, because we probably wouldn't be sat here today if it did. And so that was good. And as I say, it only took a politician to say the wrong thing, and industries were, you know, could well be wiped out. It's certainly very difficult and challenging for them to recover, but hopefully nothing like that's going to be on the horizon, and we're going to be fine. But anyway, for this episode, I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you here because my throat is really sore, and I can barely talk properly. And as I say, what I don't want to do is to lose my voice completely. You know, so I'm going to, as I say, leave it here, and when you come back, at the very least this one will be done, but I think I'll do number 8 as well, off camera, and then on camera I'll be into the last field, and then hopefully in that video we'll have a little bit of drilling at the end there, and then the rest of the video will be me spraying the fields, and then the next episode after that, I'm thinking we'll push it towards harvest, you know, just so as we can get on. But thanks ever so much for watching. Really enjoyed having your company. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.